All right, Mio, it's time for you to come off. Come on, come. Good. So this month actually marks my second year using Wealthsimple Trade. I started in March 2019 and started building up this portfolio, which I've been sharing on YouTube for the past year or so. So in this video, I'll be going over quickly what I like about Wealthsimple Trade, some things that I don't like, and then at the end of the video, I'll be doing a quick portfolio overview. So if you want to skip to that, there's timestamps in the description down below. What's going on, you guys? My name is Daniel, and here on this channel, we talk about stock market investing with a focus in Canadian growth stocks. So if that's your jam, then hit that subscribe button right now. So let's hurry up, get into my phone, and just check out what's going on in Wealthsimple Trade. So first off, when we go into my phone, we can see right away the Wealthsimple logo has changed a little bit. Sorry, my cat's in the way. They've added a nice texture background, which also makes the app look a little bit more sophisticated. And when we click into it, first off, you can see that it uses Face ID to log me in. And that's one thing I love about Wealthsimple Trade, just how easy it is to log in and see what the value of my account is. So right off the bat, you can see that my account is worth around $40,500. But, just looking at the whole interface, it's very easy to see what's going on. You see your account value and roughly what's been going on in the past month based on these little icons down below. So if I click here, you can see the 1 week performance, the 1 day performance, and then we have the 1 year performance in all time. So all time, you can see this is the growth of my portfolio. And you can see every time there's a spike, that's when I deposit money into my portfolio. So I started off the account actually back in March 4th, 2019. I deposited around $2,000. And you can also see the gray line, that's my net deposits. And the green line is actually the portfolio value every single day. So in 2020, when the whole market crashed, you can see that my portfolio went down. And I didn't do too many deposits then, mainly because I was saving for a house. But then after the whole economy started to recover, or at least the stock market, then we can see that my portfolio is now well above my net deposits. But now enough about my portfolio value, let's move down the app. So you can see here right away as you scroll down, there's a list of your stocks. You don't need to click over to another tab like other apps like Questrade, for example. So that's what I love and appreciate about Wealthsimple Trade. It's very easy to view your portfolio and you can see the entire value in the graphs. Basically, all your information is made available on one page and it's very simple. So you can see all the stocks that I own, and you can see the value of each individual share as of today's date. There's also a button here called Today's Price, which might not be so obvious, but you can click on that and you can see that it'll also give you the total value of your entire position in each individual stock. So now down the side on the right, you can see the entire value of each individual stock that I own and how much I'm up or down on that position in total, not just the days total that I'm up or down. So this is a nice overview just to see your investments since you began investing in them and see how much you're up or down. And then further down, you can see the amount that's available to trade, meaning the cash in your account. So I have about $4,000 in my account. And under that is my watch list. So they have all of the very basic information that you need to start trading and to get a good eye on what stocks you're watching for the future in case the price is right. Also in the top right, you can also change the different accounts. So you can switch between your personal, your crypto account, and your RSP account. I'll just quickly go into the crypto account because it's a little bit different, but the RSP pretty much is the same layout as the personal account. So in the crypto account, again, you have the similar layout of your account value up top, and then you've got this graph with the different performances based on time. And then down below, there's the 2 coins that they offer right now, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum. So these are the only 2 cryptocurrencies that you can buy on Wealthsimple Trade. And unfortunately, you can't actually transfer these currencies out into other exchanges or into a hard wallet. So that's one of the limitations with Wealthsimple Trade. Also, if you're going to buy and sell Bitcoin, for example, you can see here that if I'm going to buy $1 worth of Bitcoin, they tell you exactly what's the estimated Bitcoin value you're going to get. So I'll get back 99 cents first, and then the operating costs, or basically the fees that I'm paying, is 1 cent. And the total amount, which is $1, and they also tell you the estimated Bitcoin price that you're buying Bitcoin at after all the fees. So that's a quick overview of Wealthsimple Crypto. Now, for some of you guys who have already been using the app and you're wondering where are my tax documents because tax season's coming up, well, you can find them here in the top left. If you go to accounts and click on your personal account, then you can see all the account documents, monthly statements, and tax documents. Click on the tax documents and you can see all the tax documents for 2020 or 2019. So they'll list out all your tax documents for the previous years. Here you can see I have some tax documents that were given to me in 2021. So those are the tax documents I'll be using this year for my 2020 filings. So that's a quick overview of Wealthsimple Trade and what you can expect to see if you're using the app. Now, if you want to sign up today and you haven't started using Wealthsimple Trade, use the link down below in my description and you get $25 for signing up today and depositing $100 and making your first trade. They used to be $10 and they bumped that up to $25, so take advantage of that right now before it goes away. Now moving on to the rest of this video where I talk a bit more about my portfolio. So stick around if you want to check out all my individual stocks, and I'll go through a few of the new ones that I've added in this past month. So scrolling down, you can see that I have Absolute Software, a fairly sizable position of $2,000 in that. In Absolute Software, they're a security company that does endpoint security. And basically, they secure endpoints like your laptop or your phone. And what they secure them from is if your laptop gets lost or stolen, then Absolute Software is able to help recover information that hackers might delete, as well as possibly locate your device and prevent the hackers from actually getting into your information. The second stock on this list is Chartwell Retirement Residence. In Chartwell, I bought this stock a while ago before the whole pandemic happened. However, the pandemic has impacted the business greatly because people have realized that these old folks' homes are sort of a breeding ground for these viruses. And when one person catches it, it's very easy to spread and it can lead to a lot of fatalities. And ultimately, we saw this entire sector get hit. And right now, I'm holding on to Chartwell, waiting for it to break even, and then I'll consider selling it. Because the strategy here for my portfolio is to invest fully in growth stocks, no more dividend stocks. The next stock here is Converge Technology Solutions. In this stock, they're basically trying to consolidate all the IT providers in the market. Small and medium businesses need an IT department. However, oftentimes they're not able to hire IT people just because of the overhead costs. So companies will contract out their IT to Converge Technology Solutions. That way they don't need to employ IT people, as well as Converge knows the entire IT space and can give the best recommendations versus a company trying to build out their own IT team and start from scratch. The next company on this list is Docebo, and I have around $2,500, and this is one of my larger holdings in this portfolio. Although Docebo took a pretty big hit in the past couple of weeks, I do believe in this company long term, and I think that the learning management space which they play in right now is going to be very important for corporations going forwards, especially as people move to a work from home model. Training no longer will be done in person where you go into a boardroom and you learn from some person. Rather, it's probably going to be in more video formats where the instructor will record it once and it can be played multiple times. That way, the company doesn't need to hire the instructor to teach a lesson every single time, and maybe they can use resident experts to run these courses. They can film it once, and it can be used for the following years. The next stock on this list is MCI One Health Technologies, and this is a new stock on my list. I've actually been buying this stock as it's been dipping, and if we go into it, we can see that it's come down quite significantly since they IPO'd. They IPO'd early on in January, I believe it was January 6th, and that was ultimately the day when the White House was stormed. And what happened after that was all stocks sold off, including MCI One Health Technologies. And ever since then, that's been sort of like the momentum for MCI One Health, where the stock has been trending downwards. However, they play in the same space as CloudMD and Well Health Technologies. And they have their own telemedicine platform and they run their own clinics in the GTA area as well as Alberta. So I've been buying this company because I do believe they're undervalued when you look at their PS ratio. It sits somewhere around like a 4 or a 3 as of today, versus Well Health Technologies and CloudMD, their PS ratios are somewhere around the 10 to 20 mark, depending on what day you're looking at them. So MCI One Health Technologies is definitely undervalued when you compare them to their competitors, and I believe that with earnings coming out soon for them, investors might see something in this company and actually start buying it out. I have a lot more thoughts on MCI One Health Technologies, so let me know in the comments down below if you want me to make a dedicated video on this stock that I'm buying on this dip. Now, if we quickly go through the rest of my portfolio, I've got GDMP, which I've talked about in a previous video, and I'll link that down below if you're interested in checking it out. I'm planning on adding a few more shares in this coming week, just because it's on a dip right now, and there's a few other technical indicators that are lining up for this company. If you want to see when I'm buying GDMP, then consider joining my Patreon group. I not only talk about what I'm buying and selling, I give my reasoning as well. I also give my current thoughts on the stock market and what I'm planning to do over the next couple of weeks, every now and then. So it's buy and sell alerts as well as my thoughts on the day-to-day basis of the stock market. Moving on, I've got another stock called H2O Innovations, and honestly, there's another YouTuber who does a very good review of this stock, so check him out. His name's Daniel Pronk. The next stock after H2O Innovations is Hive Blockchain Technologies, and I started buying this stock early on in December, and so far it's returned around 111%. I did make a video saying that I sold off half my position, and you can see that right down here. I sold it off on February 19th. And the reason is because the stock ran quite far for its actual valuation, and I felt like all the good news was priced in at the moment, and even some good news that's going to be coming down the road is probably already priced in. I haven't yet bought back into Hive, but I plan to buy back in at certain levels around the $4 and $3.20 mark. So if it doesn't drop back to then I won't be buying back in, but if it does, then I will be. The next stock on this list is Kits Eye Care. And I made quite a few videos recently on Kits Eye Care, so you can check those out on my channel if you're interested, as well as I'll link them down below. My cost basis is around $8.40, and today the stock is trading for $8.66, which is below their initial public offering price when they came on the market. I think they offered for around $8.50. However, the stock traded immediately at $9 when it came on the market. So I think there's still value in the stock today, buying at $8.66, because I do believe that buying glasses online will become more of a norm going forwards. In fact, the glasses that I'm wearing here, if you want to take a closer look, these are actually Kits Eye Care glasses. I had a bit of a sour experience with the first pair that I got. However, I returned those and got these pairs, and honestly, they're pretty good glasses, and I'm happy with this purchase. Moving on, we've got New Path Health. And the reason why I bought into the stock is because they have chronic pain clinics. And I believe that going forwards, we're going to see a lot more people needing chronic pain care because of the aging population, as well as people continue to have more sedentary lifestyles. We always sit on the computer or sit on the couch, and through all that sitting and just inactivity, it builds up muscle sores, muscle pains, and these are going to impact everybody further on down the road. And I think that New Path Health is building up their business to be able to capture that demand for chronic care. So I have a small position in them. It's a speculative position. You can see it's only around $468, and I have 600 shares. My average price was around 83 cents, so I'm a little bit down on this position right now. However, I plan to hold this one until it runs up maybe to the $2 mark before selling off a bit and holding the rest for a couple of years or so. Real Matters is another stock that I've been buying into fairly heavily in the month of January. I believe that the stock is still undervalued today, and it's just been selling off ever since the summer of 2020. And I think that there's a lot of value in the stock right now because the PS ratio is quite low. It's somewhere around a 4 or even a 3 by now. There's a good amount of support at around the $16 level, so I think that buying in right now might be a decent idea to start a position. However, I wouldn't be surprised if the stock sold off back to the $12 and $13 level where it was pre-pandemic. And I think that there's good support there, and if the stock does drop there, I do believe that insiders will be buying like they've been buying right now. My position in this company is around $2,500, and I've lost around 17.5% since starting to invest in this company. However, I'm holding this company for the long term until at least 2x's, where I might sell out of some of my position and hold the rest for the long term. If you want to check out my previous video on why I'm bullish on Real Matters, then I've linked that down below in the description as well. Relic Health Technologies is my other penny stock. It's also a health tech play. So Relic Health, they make some sort of device that helps monitor patients who are more elderly. So if the elderly person falls or has a heart attack or a stroke, then it will immediately send an SMS to some emergency crews and possibly to family members. I believe that this service is going to be very useful for kids who don't necessarily want to have their parents move in with them, but they also want to keep tabs on their parents and how they're doing and be alerted if anything happens. I started buying this stock at around 53 cents per share, and that's my average price. And since then, it's returned around 47%. I plan to hold the rest of these shares as I've already made a small profit and sold off here, which you can see that I sold off on February 3rd. I sold off at a price of 75 cents per share. Now moving on to the last 4 stocks in my portfolio. So Shopify is a big position in my portfolio. It's worth around 3.3K, which is probably my second biggest position next to Wealthsimple Technologies, which you can see at the bottom. And Wellhead Technologies is my biggest position in this portfolio. And if you guys have been a long-time subscriber to my channel, you know that I love this company. And I still will be buying it. I haven't been buying as much as I wanted to, but I think that anything below $9 is a steal in this company because management actually bought shares in their latest financing for $9.80. And this should signal to us investors in Wellhead Technologies that management believes that this company is undervalued and they are willing to put their own money where their mouth is, and they're going to be buying into the stock at a higher price than investors right now. But back to Shopify. I think that Shopify is an amazing e-commerce company, and honestly, they're the tech darling of Canada. They're the largest stock on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and they just beat Royal Bank earlier or later last year. Shopify is definitely a long-term hold for me until they saturate the entire e-commerce market, which I don't foresee happening until maybe 5 to 10 years down the road. After that, they probably will get into other verticals, so I'll have to see what other verticals they get into before making a decision to sell them off, but definitely this is a long-term hold in this portfolio. The last two companies on this list aren't as interesting to you guys who are growth investors, but I think that they play an interesting position in this portfolio. StorageWall Canada, if you look at the 5-year performance, you'd actually think that they're a growth stock. And the reason why they grew so quickly was because they were acquiring a bunch of storage locker companies over the past 5 years. They had explosive growth in the early days, but now the growth has slowed down a bit just because they've already grown to a fairly sizable company in the storage market. Their market cap is around $1.5 billion, and probably the total addressable market, I haven't checked in a long time, but it probably doesn't extend much further, in Canada at least. Maybe it probably sits around the $5 to $10 billion, which does represent still a lot of growth opportunity. However, it's going to be harder and harder for StorageWall Canada to accelerate their growth like they did in the earlier days. So this is why we saw the stock sort of slump in the past 3 years or so, and it traded somewhat sideways but to the up direction. So far in this position, I'm up 17% and I've held this stock for at least 2 years or so. They pay a small dividend right now of 0.27%, but I think it's sort of a company that I do see continuing to grow and act as a staple in my portfolio. The last stock in my portfolio is Waste Connections, and this stock here I've been holding for at least a year or so. I think that the garbage industry is here to stay and people are going to need their waste taken away, whether it's from a corporate perspective or just on your curbside. So Waste Connections is going to continue to boom as long as e-commerce booms. Because when people buy packages, you get boxes, you get trash, and this trash has to be taken away. So Waste Connections will continue to charge municipals as well as just enterprises out there who need waste removal. And I think that e-commerce is here to stay and it's only going to grow, which means more and more waste is going to be produced. And that way, Waste Connections is going to continue growing their business. So that about wraps it up for my February review of my Wealthsimple portfolio. Now, I'm going to be talking a bit more, just for another minute or so, about what stocks I plan to add to for the month of March. So the stocks that I'm looking to add to, I mentioned before, GDMP is one of them. I'll probably add more to MCI One Health Technologies as I think that they soon will pop after earnings. And there's a reason behind that, which I'll disclose in another video. Another stock that I plan to add is Hive Blockchain Technologies, as long as they drop to the $4 level, which they may or may not do. I believe that if we see another pullback in Bitcoin, which I believe we will, Hive Blockchain Technologies could come back down to that level. I will probably continue to add to Real Matters as well, probably buying a very small position here and there, as the position's already quite sizable. And the last stock that I plan to add to is Wellhead Technologies, as long as they're below the $9 level. Preferably, I prefer to add at $8.50, but we'll see if we get there. Anyways, that's all I have for today's video. Let me know your thoughts down below about my portfolio, as well as what stocks are you guys buying. If you want to stay up to date on what I'm buying and my thoughts about the stock market, check out my Patreon group. I'm quite active there. I usually post at least every other day, if not once a day. Leave a like down below, as well as subscribe and hit that notification bell if you're new here. If you want to check out 2 of the stocks that I mentioned on this video, this video is right up here. If you're there, I'll see you there. If not, keep up the grind and have a great day.